Hello, everyone. My name is Katie Wright. You are watching Divine Shine Healing, Mediumship, and Tarot. This is my new channel. This is my second post of what's going to be a new channel on mediumship and tarot and Reiki, my journey through mediumship, and um, bringing to you stories of clients I've worked on. I plan to have live clients or take clients through video and showcase that and just see where it goes. But all of these stories have been very profound for myself and the people I've worked with, and I never want to forget them. And so that's a big part of the reason why I'm starting this channel. So this is the second episode, and now I begin to start having experiences that are a little bit more undeniable. So I'm going to tell you about two of them in this episode. Okay, so I was hired to do Reiki, and by the way, all the names and relationships with my clients and these people that I'm talking about have been changed just to protect identity, but the story remains the same. They're interchangeable. Okay, so I started to book a session with my daughter's father, his neighbor, his friend. It's our mutual friend. So I was driving. I was texting and driving. And so he texted me and he wanted to book a Reiki session. And I was like, sure, let's meet next week. And he's like, okay, great. And so immediately I started to hear, as I'm driving in my head, I hear Rahar, Rajar, Rajer, Rahir. Okay, and so this man that I was going to work on, he's from India. He's from the country of India. And so I thought, oh my gosh, Kitty, you're so dumb. Like, why are you making up these names in your head? Why are you making up these Indian names in your head? Like, stop doing that. That's weird. So I forgot about it. And then a week goes by, and then I go to his house and I do Reiki. And as soon as I sit down to do it, the names keep coming up. Rajar, Rahir, Raher, Rajir. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so weird. So I didn't mention anything until, I didn't mention anything until later in the session, but I started working on him. He had an Achilles tendon injury that he wanted healing on, so I worked on that. And then, and then I started to receive a bunch of information about something so random than anything we were doing. And I was like, okay, I know this is really weird, but I feel like I'm getting this character come to me. He's a tall, thin, very light-skinned man with dark hair. He has a New York accent, a thick, East Coast accent. He's kind of like a Goodfellas vibe. I don't watch movies, so I don't even know what that means, but kind of just like one of the boys, I don't know. Anyways, so I said, does this make any sense to you? And he's like, yeah, it does. And I was like, okay, who is it? And he's like, that's Roger. I was like, Roger? Are you kidding me? He's like, no, he died. And I was like, what? I didn't understand what was going on. And so, at this time when I started doing this with people, it didn't get very far. Like I receive a message and then I shut it down because I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So anyways, so I was also telling him, I'm like, he seems like he's really funny. He's like making me laugh. And so then he tells me it's Roger. I was like, what? And he died? What? Like, I don't understand. what is going on? And so, so then I asked for the backstory, and basically there's this local bar that my client used to go to, that this man, Roger, was a bouncer at. He had recently got out of prison. He was a felon, and he was trying to straighten up his life. And my client was kind of giving him advice on things he could do, and, you know, trying to talk to him and trying to help him. And he was going to be a comedian. And so I didn't realize it all then, but I brushed it off and played it off like, that's so weird. I can't believe I like guessed that out of nowhere, you know? So so basically at the time that my client booked a session with me, as I was driving in my car, I immediately started to receive information that I did not know was for my client, right? And he was messing with me. Like, he was joking with me. He was coming across as Roger, who he was pretending to be Roger, like a made up Indian name that I thought I was making up. So that, I get the chills. That was a really cool story in hindsight, but still, like I told you in the first episode, I listened to Medium in the Middle, her podcast. She talks about how she has these experiences and doesn't really put it all together. At that time, I still wasn't putting it together. Even though I got a specific name, even though I described him like I saw him in a movie to a T, I didn't understand what was going on. So until the next story. And this is one that I'm already getting the chills. It's probably my favorite Reiki and mediumship story because of who it was with, who I did it with, my friend Christine. Oh, sorry, that is her real name. I'm throwing it out there. I don't think she minds. And so of who it was with, the circumstances it was under, and the gravity of what uncovered and unfolded thereafter. So I was working on my friend Christine. We were at my daughter's father's house, or I was living at the moment for miscellaneous reasons, but anyways, besides the point. So it was just the two of us. I don't think my daughter was home. I think she was spending the night at a friend's house or something. It was just the two of us. It was all dark. We were like doing cards and crystals and stuff earlier in the night, and then I was going to do Reiki on her. So sat down, or she laid down on the table. I got behind her, sat down, started to do meditation, and then I just kept hearing repeat in my head, Samantha, Amanda, Samantha, Amanda, Samantha, Amanda, Samantha, Amanda, Samantha, Amanda, back to back, back to back, back to back, and it wouldn't stop. And I was like, okay. I hadn't even started, right? And so I was like, do these two names mean anything to you? Samantha and Amanda? And she's like, oh my God, Amanda, she was my best friend. She died last year. She was only 31. She died from alcohol poisoning, not a single use event. She died of cirrhosis of the liver, which at 31 to die of that, I guess you have to be a pretty bad alcoholic. And Christine had recently stopped drinking at that time. And so I assumed maybe she was coming back to say like, good job, keep up the good work or whatever. But and I didn't understand. Now I know that they come back for tons of different reasons. But we were both freaked out. So I jumped up, switched on the lights. We were done. And I couldn't believe, like, we both couldn't believe what just happened, right? So that's Amanda. But we didn't know who Samantha was. So that week, she asked her friends and family, and I asked my friends and family. No one could figure it out. So I teach fitness. I personal train and teach a bunch of classes. And at that time, I was teaching a lot of classes. I had taught 7 classes back to back that day. I was exhausted. And I'm in my last class, my dance class of the day. I'm teaching. Christine is in it. And we were on a break, and I overhear Christine talking to our mutual friend, telling her this story about our Reiki. And so I hijacked the story, and I was like, and then I kept hearing these two names, Samantha. She's like, oh my God, Katie, that's it. And I was like, what? She's like, she used to call me in the middle of the night when she's all fucked up and say, hey, Chrissy, it's Amanda. It's Amanda. Slurring the two together. And I can never tell that story without getting the chills. And then I realized at that moment what was actually going on. And because not only was I getting a specific name, but I was getting personality details, specifics that only Christine would know. You know, and it was just, from there, a lot of trial and error and trying and to figure out why, because I knew that there had to be a reason why I have this gift and other people don't, and then how I can help others, and then also, you know, use it to receive an income for myself. Like I said, that I'm absolutely motivated by money in general, but I'm not motivated in money with this gift. I'm a big believer, I've seen it in my own life with fitness, that when you are in your flow, when you are in your natural state, doing what you love and sharing your gift with the world, you will receive compensation, and you know, the proper amount of compensation. And I've been there. I've done that with fitness. I was helping a ton of people. I was absolutely doing what I loved, and I was making really good money doing it. Unfortunately, things happened in my life, and I had to put that on the back burner for a little bit. I'm picking it back up now, but this is kind of, you know, my dance is a huge part of my life, and this gift and bringing it to the world, sharing it in a way that is helpful to other people, and so that I don't forget these stories, is really what lights my fire nowadays. And yeah, I got a little sidetracked there, but so that was the second story. That one is one that I share often with the clients and friends and whoever wants to hear. One thing I did want to mention is in regards to like religion and spirituality. So I was baptized Catholic. My parents were not like very devout in bringing us up in the Catholic culture, although I am Italian, so I definitely, you know, I'm familiar with it, and we went to our plenty of church. But my parents went to Catholic school. My dad went to all boys Catholic school, and my mom went to a high school. I think I remember her telling me with nuns, and the nuns would like slap them with rulers on the hand, and she was scared. So they kind of not rebelled against it, but didn't follow as devoutly as their parents had. And I think that kind of trickled down towards myself. I do have a brother who I love very much. He's an older brother. He is married to a wonderful, beautiful Colombian woman who's very devout Catholic. And my brother and his family now are very Catholic and ingrained in that religion, and I have the utmost respect for all religions, and also the Catholic religion. I have the utmost respect for all people, for all colors, for all races. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is how you treat other people. It really is that's really all that matters, is how you treat other people, what you're bringing to the world, and as long as you are not hurting others and hopefully adding to the collective and not just taking, then you can be purple and like whoever you like, as long as it's not hurting anyone. That's okay with me. Anyways, so I know that the Christian religion, for example, does talk about mediums in the Bible. And I was actually watching Tyler Henry's one of his episodes last night, and he talks about how in the Christian religion, they in regards to mediumship, they were talking about mediums in the very antiquated way, where they were, gosh, I don't even remember now exactly, but basically they were like heretics of the day, and going against the religion and delving into the dark side and stuff like that. And that's not what I do. That's nothing close. I am of the light. I'm of a high vibration, of a high energy. I protect my energy by only allowing those things, those high vibrational, high energetic beings into my space, into my client's space. And I don't believe in negative things. Like it won't affect me because I'm not bringing it in. So I believe that there is a space that you can hold between religion and spirituality. I think that it's hard for people to compartmentalize, especially when it's been ingrained in them from their childhood. But and I respect other religions, and if that's for you, that's fine. And I'm not going to argue with you. And if you are a skeptic of me, I'm not going to argue with you either. I don't care if you believe me or not, because it doesn't matter. Obviously, if you don't believe me, then you're not my client, or you're not a person who, I don't need anyone to believe me. Actually, it just, it's undeniable. So anyway, yeah, so the woman that I learned Reiki from, she actually was heavily into the Christian religion, and she could definitely hold space for her religion and spirituality. So I know there's a way that you can do the two. I'm not a super religious person, although if I was, I would be more Catholic, because I do like the customs and cultures and rituals and the pomp and the circumstance of the Catholic Church rather than a Christian church, where I would be Catholic or Christian, right? And that's just typically what I would do. And I go to church. I mean, I've been to church within the past year, once or twice. And anyways, that's just a little side note. So, I just encourage you to keep an open mind and either, listen and take what's meant for you and leave what's not. Because I do feel like if you are finding this message, then it probably is meant for you in some way, or something on my channel is meant for you. And I'm appreciative of you watching. And again, if you want to book a reading with me, or Reiki, or my hair bows, my custom made intuitive hair bows, check the link down below. And or not the link, sorry, it's like I don't know why I said that. Well, I do know it because I've watched a lot of YouTube and that's what everyone says. Check the description box down below. And have a great rest of your day.